Welcome to the Runner Dudes podcast. Everyone is welcome. Runners are welcome. Walkers are welcome. The running curious are welcome. We're going to widen the door to running and soften the impact for anyone willing to lace up and show up. Today can be the day you take the first steps towards physical, mental, and spiritual well-being and become the person you were intended to be. We hope to inform, inspire, listen, learn, and help you start your own running journey, all while being moderately funny and low-key entertaining. Let's go, baby. I want to first of all start off by apologizing for how sweaty I am. Guys,
it's hot in here.
It's hot in here. I don't
dudes.
normally walk around with pitting this bad.
A little balmy.
It's balmy in here. And so please just bear with me and how disgusting and sweaty I am. We've got another guest today.
Yep.
Dusty, we're going back-to-back on guests. Throw it up. Jimmy, throw it up. It's happening. And this one is a big one. I cannot tell you, I think at least, I'm going to say 10, 15 times someone has said, boy, you're awfully rough on your boy, Jeff.
Oh, man.
And like every episode, you make some comment about how he doesn't run his miles and how he could do better. Then that's not true. I want you to compile a supercut of everything I've ever said about Jeff, because I think it's 50-50.
He's got his chance today.
Yeah, that's it.
I do know that he's been mentioned probably more than anyone else. Ilya Kipchoge.
My wife,
Jeff Lynch.
yes. No, my wife is like,
hero.
you've mentioned Jeff more than me. So,
I would say that's accurate.
and so she's like, what's that about? And I'm like,
Before we get too crazy, thanks for Willow Window for letting us use the studio. This is awesome.
look at
is a
Dusty
great
coming
privilege.
through paying bills.
Yeah, paying the
Yes,
bills. right
Willow
here.
Window. And listen, come check out the studio. We have Willow windows in our house,
Whoa.
and they are fantastic. And the whole experience was really great. And so,
Windows.
Window.
and Express
can see you now.
footwear.
Footwear and
Express
running.
footwear, sight and sound.
Let's do it.
Give it up, baby.
Let's
And
record
then, of
something.
course, the Runner Dude Coaching and the Runner Dudes podcast. And Highland Rim Electric is in the house today.
right,
'Cause
Highland
now,
Rim Electric.
today, Jeff Lynch finally comes
Yes.
to give his side of the story.
Welcome.
Yes.
And I think, first of all, right off the rip, I think everybody's going to be super excited about your accent.
Oh, they ain't ready. They're not ready.
Let's go.
This is East Tennessee. This is not Middle Tennessee, guys.
This man he went to Daniel Boone High School,
I did.
Gray, Tennessee.
Gray, Tennessee, hometown.
We got people currently Googling Gray, Tennessee.
They don't know. It's got a Dairy Queen.
It's got a Dairy Queen. And it's way
Cool treats, man.
It's way over there. We got to do our opening question to Dusty, of course. Let's get that out of the way. This is a good one, though. Who's your best running road dog? How did y'all meet? What are some memorable runs y'all have done together? What's some shenanigans y'all have done together?
I usually don't like to limit to one, but I got two. First one, Adam Jolly. He is a close friend of mine. We started kind of the same running journey at the same time. He was living at home. This is before he got married. We went to church together. Man, we were pretty close, and we kind of had the same goal. We ran the first same marathon together, Rock and Roll in Nashville. After Adam, once I started running with Upper Coleman, Travis and I, we were pretty close, man, as far as running. Like I said on the last episode, we kind of shared some of the same dry humor.
Yes.
And we just kind of clicked. So
Very similar dudes.
Adam, Travis,
Yeah.
big shout out to my running dogs right there.
So for me, mine has got to be Jeff Lynch. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Lynch. Let's
Yes.
go.
Thank you.
And so tell us, introduce yourself, Jeff. Tell us about you. Tell us about your
Okay, so
family.
I am Jeff Lynch. I'm here.
the Jeff
I am the Jeff Lynch. I'm from East Tennessee, as you probably can tell.
Clearly.
Obviously, East Tennessee.
Clearly. Let me ask you this. Is it y'all or Yuns?
Y'all.
Oh, it's y'all. See, Yuns must be a Crossville
I had
thing.
never heard Yuns until I come.
Really?
Never heard it.
Okay, so maybe it's a middle, like a Upper Cumberland thing.
Maybe.
Because it's Yuns. If you don't say Yuns, something wrong with you.
So East Tennessee, Daniel Boone High School, Cookville, Tennessee, found Tennessee Tech, graduated Tennessee Tech, went to Nashville, train wreck, not a city guy, get out of that.
Surely not.
Yeah, you believe that, right?
New York City.
So, yeah, and then come back, and here I am, 20 years into self-employment, electrical business, living my best life.
It's great.
Yeah. I want to get into how we met. And so you've got to understand, this is going back, I think the first time I saw you was probably, I don't know, maybe 2018 or something. And it was...
I've often wondered how you guys...
Yeah, and so he ran...
Car wreck.
So, yes, he ran by this dude. I kept seeing him out for runs. And Jeff is a bigger dude. He does... Because at one time you lifted heavy.
Very heavy.
In college, that was your
When
thing.
I would pass him, this guy's going one way, and I'm going the other. Most time, before we met, opposite directions.
Yes, always.
That guy's flying. What's his problem? He's flying. I said, I'm out here dying, just trying to do this.
I remember vividly you running by my house, and it was in the summer. And of course, I didn't know at the time how difficult you were probably about to die.
Close, yes.
But I remember you were because you're just jacked runner, and you were running a pace that you probably had no business running.
Oh,
flying. And I remember telling
the
my wife,
threshold of life. That's all I knew.
you were hanging on by
That's all I knew.
you were hanging on by a thread.
No coaching. We're going out to die.
We're going out to
We're
die.
training. So
You might see the spirit horse today.
a couple of times.
And I told my wife, I was like, that guy's either the baddest MFer in the county or a lunatic. And either way, lock the door.
Probably the dumbest.
Yes. And then I just kept seeing you. And I remember one day I just stopped you. And I was just like, just introduced myself. I was like, do I see you all the time? And I think that year at the Haunted, we got a picture together.
I think, at the Haunted that year.
Wished you good luck. And so that's when our journeys kind of took a similar path because we knew more about running than anybody, right, Jeff?
100%.
Tell us.
I lifted
You got
weights.
a coach.
I lifted weights, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I CrossFit. So some guy, one of my buddies, says, hey, you need to go run. I said, well, all right. I don't really want to, but I'll go run. So I go run, what was it? Race for the Cure's first race I ever run in Cookville. And it's a 5-mile race. And I thought, okay, we'll go do this. So I go run, and I'm standing there, and it's over. I have no idea what's happening. So everybody's gathered around the stadium, the little thing outside. And Jeff Lynch, second place age group. I kind of look around, and you're kind of like, what? Why? What did I just do? I had no idea what I'd just done. So that kind of started the...
Right.
But running like what we're running now, absolutely not. We were still weightlifting. That's just what we did.
And
when we were younger, that's what we did. I don't know if that's what it was when y'all...
Yeah.
Running was not a thing. We need to be able to bench X.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you can tell, lifting was never my thing. You can tell by these cannons. Check out that.
Easy.
Marathon bicep.
Easy.
Oh,
Had you gotten? I'm trying to think when you got injured. That's when we came together. Was basically I had ran myself into I had a coach. I had Louie, and so of course I didn't tell Louie that my leg was. I felt like somebody stabbing me with an ice pick in my shin. That was none of his business.
When you ran into me, of course, I had a coach at the time. I'd hired a coach, Bobby Holcomb, out of Knoxville. And there was no way I was going to tell that man that I was hurt, anything was sore, period. We're in this. We're going to do this. I'm paying somebody, and I'm going to make this work.
And we've talked also people pleaser.
Oh, yes, man.
Yes.
Oh, you want me to go out and run whatever? Well, then, of course, I've never done it before, but absolutely, we're going to go do that.
Yes.
So 3 months into training,
Yes.
I can't walk because my knee will not bend anymore. We're IT band syndrome times 5,000. It's done.
And my favorite thing is we both had, as runners do, Dusty, me and Jeff, we knew more than the doctors know. I was just going to take 14 a leave a day and keep going. And Jeff, tell them about your magic salve.
Oh, so I'm not going to mention my family doctor. Still got her. I don't want to lose my
Might get a
family
lawsuit
doctor.
on the deal here.
Yeah, so we'll stay out of all that. So, I called her and I said, I've got to get an appointment. And she said, what's the problem? I said, well, I can't bend my leg for my run. And I said, I need, of course, WebMD, right?
Yeah, right, yeah.
So I've got this stuff. I know what it is, and I need a prescription for this. And she said, well, you've lost your mind, but you'll have to come in. So I come in, and I get this salve that's supposed to, I'm saying this stuff is supposed to take away my inflammation. So I get like a bucket of this stuff, and I'm drowning my knee in this every night.
He bought the 55-gallon drum. Got a
I'm
disc.
saying, well, it's not working.
Got a rate.
So then you do whatever other runner does, right? You go up to where you start at, you get out of your car, and you go, okay, now I couldn't walk at work today, but I'm going to get a quarter mile in and see what this feels
Let's
like.
just see what we got.
Up.
Let's loosen this baby
I
up.
parked up at the north side of town here and made it. I would say I made it across Stage 1's parking lot, behind where Stage 1 Dance Studio's at.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
realized that
You're done. We're done.
I cannot walk. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to make it back to the truck. What are you doing? So we were done right there.
There's a lesson there, and Dusty, you know, and I hope the runners that I coach are listening. Listen, when it if there's a problem, if you have a coach, your coach needs to know about it.
100%.
If you're having a problem and you don't have a coach, Jeff, were you training for the Olympics?
Yes.
Let me ask you: were you paying your mortgage and putting food on the table with your running?
Nike has not signed me yet. No.
Why do we do that, Dusty? Why do we run ourselves into just like shutting our bodies down for what? It's crazy.
I think we mentioned something about it the last time, especially younger folks. It feels like you're kind of going against like some type of a clock. You're on a timer that you got to do this, and if you don't.
Yes, I felt
also,
that way.
I think there's a fear. I've seen this in running and a lot of other things. There's this fear that you're possibly going to reach a point to where you're either going to not get any better or you're going to have to stop.
And the clock's ticking.
Yeah, and I think I'm not so sure. My goals and the purpose behind my running has changed over the years. You know, used to it was all about, hey, I need this pace, I need these miles, I need this. And then I had to step back and think. I'm like, honest to goodness, what's this really doing to my body?
Yes.
So you got to find that. You got to find that purpose. And I'm not saying everybody's got to stay on the same path, but I think that's kind of where runners. And then you start thinking, man, I'm really happy with this fitness that I've developed. And then, like you think in a snap of a finger, it's just going to go away.
I know.
If you take
such a misconception.
like 24 hours. You feel like if you take 24 hours off,
Yes.
you rest.
Yes.
You should be able to go back out and just start blasting it out again.
I think that, this is what I thought, and I believe that so many people believe this. I've read articles about this, like you said. Running is an interesting, Jeff, we talk about this all the time. If the three of us, even at our ages, wanted to get into the gym and start lifting heavy and eating 12 chicken breasts a day, bro, we could put on muscle.
Quick.
It's a much easier thing to do. Running, the improvements and the gains that you have in running are slower. It takes time, and I think I certainly got this idea that if I don't continue to running, if I take a day off or 2 days off, I'm losing it.
I feel like you take one step forward and you take 10 back.
Yes,
Stop.
but the studies all show that you can honestly not run it takes 2 to 3 weeks to lose any noticeable fitness. And so I hope anybody I don't know that we talked about that on our misconceptions episode. I hope anybody that's listening can take, while it is funny, and we'll get into how much funnier it was, and it's what brought us together, is that we both ran ourselves into very serious injuries. Dusty, I'm sure you've ran yourself into some injuries, and it was unnecessary. Yeah. But because I'm a recovering alcoholic, I also had this pressure of, Jeff, we'll get into your physical struggles, is that I felt like I've wasted so much of my life, and I'm not going to waste another day. And if I got to take some leave to keep running, that's what I'm going to do. Did you feel this way?
Well, it's a now thing. I mean, you got 3 people sitting here that are basically self-employed, so you got ambitious. There's ambitious.
Well, there's 4.
4. Yeah,
I was just thinking earlier, we all 4 own our own.
I mean,
business.
when you start talking self-employment, and I'm around it a lot, obviously, all of us, you've got ambitious folks. You're not sitting back. You don't want to be in mainstream. You're wanting to step out, and this is what I want to do. Well, running and your personality, honestly, when I signed up for a coach, the next step was Boston. 100%. I wasn't signing up and paying this guy to go out here and jog around.
You can do that on your own.
Somebody said I'd won my age group, so the next step had to be
The natural evolution.
we would just go run Boston. And I was going to do it in 6 months, and nobody was going to tell me different. So the mindset was, it's not can I, I'm going to.
Yeah.
And I run myself right into a disaster and got to sit on the couch for 3 months.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh, that's the worst 3 months.
And that's the Kermit the Frog we've talked about. That's looking out the window, watching everybody else do it, and you can't. Yeah, exactly.
There's never been more runners in the world than when you can't go run.
We will have the strongest running community in Cookville when you can't run.
You can't run. Yeah.
Like you said, everybody's getting out and everybody's tuned in, just hammering, and you're like,
If you ever, if numbers are low and you need runners, we'll just get injured and take 30 days. And Express Footwear will be booming.
Booming.
Yes. We bumped into each other because I remember I walked off the course at St. Jude, and you were tracking me that day.
Mm-hmm.
And you knew something was up. And so the next time we saw each other, we talked, we commiserated over it. And I explained what had happened. And we started running. This is 2019. We met in February, March of 2019. Well, no. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, February.
Yep. Because then the next thing is, boom, COVID.
Yep.
And then all the races. I had already, so here's what a lunatic I am. And we both, I think you had signed up for a race as well. I had come straight out of Memphis with a serious injury, taken some time off, and had already signed up for a March marathon.
Same.
And I'm going to go qualify.
I already signed up for Virginia Beach. Couldn't even walk, but we were doing it.
And please take this next. I understand that COVID was not a good thing, but it kept me from running that stupid marathon. It shut it all down.
Yes.
And so it took all the tension out of the room. And me and you, I remember saying, I'm not going to quit running because eventually they're going to race again, and I want to be ready. And so it was a time. It was maybe my most favorite. I know it's crazy to say because it was a scary time for a lot of reasons, businesses and people being out of work and people being sick. But for my running, it was great.
It was great. I mean,
There was no traffic.
there was no traffic. It was so spooky. I mean, we'd run through past Crawdaddy's.
It was spooky.
I'm gonna share this picture with you guys. This is the first time that I remember actually crossing paths with the two of you on the same day. This was 2020. All right, y'all see that picture right there?
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
So we ran the haunted half
We
route
did.
that morning from Tech.
Yeah, COVID year.
Yeah,
Yep.
COVID year, right? That's the first time I remember meeting both of you.
That's a group of crazy people right there.
Yes.
Elm Street, I couldn't see my feet. It's pretty dark.
It
Going
was
down,
dark,
Elm?
bro.
Is
It's
it Elm?
Maple.
Yeah.
Maple, yes, it's Maple. Yeah.
Yes, it was dark as you
Dark,
could not
yes.
see in front of your face.
Yes.
I remember we were running down Broad, and Lexa Morgan was having her graduation photos,
Yes.
and there was not a car on Broad,
Not a person.
not a person. And we would run in the middle of the road at 5 p.m.
Yep.
And it was the craziest thing.
So remember, one of the weirdest things that happened to us in the middle of Tech, we were coming back up
Oh,
toward
Lord.
the library.
Come on, I know where this is at.
And so help me, a policeman pulled up behind us running and said, "You guys need to separate."
6 feet apart.
I was like,
Oh.
We're both like, whoa.
We had same
Whoa.
thing happen to us too. Now we were running.
I was like,
we
I'm
were
going to
about-
take my chances.
we were
Yeah.
about 14 deep. And,
A running club run.
Yeah, and we did, and it was like that too. They made us do the very same thing. Said,
Yeah.
we need you guys need at least.
What a weird
What was it?
time,
It
bro.
was very strange. They're just doing their job, and no
It-
disrespect, but
sure.
if we could have had a conversation, it would have been like, you know, he just spit on me like 10 seconds ago.
What was
Yes.
what was the running? What was it called? The slipstream or whatever it was.
Oh, I remember the
Sweat
video.
snot, how it
Yeah.
travels 3
Talking
feet.
about them,
It
the
travels 3 feet.
And then you
Spit
run
stream.
back into it.
Spit. It was something.
Yes.
It was a slip. Spit something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like the jet
was just
stream, but for
joking.
spit.
But it was for spit for runners.
There was so much crazy stuff going on. And what was so crazy, too, was that every race, and I remember I was signing up for anything that was still letting people sign up. I was like, I'm going, because I was bound and determined to Boston qualify.
Right.
We finally, the first time we got a chance to get back on the clock was Townsend.
Townsend.
And
15K. Yep.
And me and you hadn't been doing any, we just been running all slow miles.
And talking about the great running you was talking about, that's why it was so great for both of us. There was no, I've got to do this, I've got to be ready for this. There was no deadline to that run, and that's what you were getting at. It's just we were running with there was no workouts. There was no, I have to be ready by this date. We just went and ran.
Yes. And it was and the Townsend trip was incredible. And so, super weird years.
Every episode, it seems like we talk about Boston qualifying. I know that means the Boston Marathon, but I don't know what it means to Boston qualify. Would you explain?
Yeah. So
I'm just curious.
No, sure. So there are you have to run a specific standard. So whereas like I can sign up for the Kentucky Derby Marathon, and anybody, as long as you meet they have 20,000 runners, whatever it is, there's no time standard. In order to run Boston, you have to not only sign up, but you have to run a specific time, and it is based on your age. I think Jeff is at a point that his standard is 3 hours 15 minutes. I think I'm 3:10, maybe 3:05, because we're in different age groups, right? Yeah, because you're
He should be 310.
3:10,
all 3:10,
and
yeah,
so
3:10, I think,
it is very aggressive.
And is it self-monitored? Like you just
So it's not. So actually, it's
How do
on
they
a.
know?
You have to run a specific course. There's not every marathon. Not every city will host a marathon that is a Boston qualifier.
Oh, I see. So you run
So
another race.
You
that
you
is
have to
times.
actually
Okay.
run another marathon that would qualify you for that
Yeah.
next year's
Yes.
race. You have a
Yeah.
certain cutoff. You have certain ones that you can run.
That's cool.
So and it is it's chip timed, it's gun timed, so
Mm-hmm.
it's legit. So you got people there watching that will actually verify your time, and then what that does is that then puts you in it puts you in a group of qualifiers. Now,
I see.
just because you run, so if it's let's just say it's a 310 and you run a 310, now there's going to be a
Cutoff.
There's a cutoff. Now, if you have 17,000 other runners that run that same time, but beat you out by 3 seconds, of course that pushes you further down the list. So even though you do, there's a slight chance that you might not make the cutoff.
Wow. So it's super
So if
elite.
it says it's 310, it actually might mean you have to run
3:05.
305.
It's been
Yeah.
about a 5-minute buffer.
Yeah, I can't be the only one that didn't know that.
No,
but
no, no.
We
And
talk about it.
you know
like, I
what's
don't even
funny
know what
is
that
I mean,
means.
it's funny, Jimmy. We say that. Travis, we talked about it too. When I first started running with that guys, they all shared that same goal,
Yeah.
and it was never, ever, ever on my radar.
I didn't even know. I didn't know.
I did not. I mean, I did. I know what the Boston Marathon was.
Sure.
But I didn't care. I just knew, hey, look, here's a bunch of folks that like to run. Let's just go run, and that was
Right.
it. Honestly, when I did Boston qualify for my first time, I didn't even know it until about an hour after I turned my phone on. I went up to the hotel, took a shower, and I was going to my truck, and I turned my phone on, and I had about 74,000 text messages. They were saying congratulations. I didn't even know it.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's interesting too. Once you submit your time, and the Boston Athletic Association, they go through this whole process of vetting your time, and so it's not just to sign up and they take your word. They do vet it, make sure that because I qualified at Cummins, it was a Boston qualifier, so they had to like vet that, check out their website, all the stuff.
Nothing can take away your Boston qualifier, but there's a chance that it doesn't get you into the race.
Yeah, sure.
That was mine. I ran such close on the time anyway.
You didn't get in.
I didn't get in.
I see.
Tell me about. I want to get into one of the things that we've talked about, and again, me and Jeff have ran together for 6 years now, and so you run with somebody. We've literally ran thousands of miles together, and so you learn about everybody's their life story, and learn about their family and their ambitions and their goals and all the stuff. And you struggled with
Crohn's disease.
Crohn's disease.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
2009 was when they finally diagnosed me. As a teenager, I'd have spells where I'd get sick, and it's called nervous stomach. I guess maybe medicine or whatever. Nervous stomach, whatever. Okay, good, and you roll on. But it finally got bad enough then that you had to do scopes, this, that, and the other. Well, but then diagnosed it as Crohn's disease. Well, fast forward into a lot of that. The options were at the time no surgery. If you can deal with this, you just don't have surgery. Well, it got to the point where like 3 days out of 7, I'm throwing up and just dealing with it, going to work, dealing with it, throw up at work, go back to work.
And the mental health.
Oh, you're drained. I mean, mental health wise, what am I doing? Am I going to wake up? I mean, literally, and it sounds dramatic, but are you going to wake up tomorrow?
Sure.
How much more can I do to put up with what's going on? And I'm a big guy, 180-ish on a good day. I'd got down to 151.
Wow.
Because couldn't eat. Everything you put in you it's coming back. That's all there was to it. So you get kind of poor and you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
couldn't even mow the yard, guys. I mean, my wife took care of everything. I worked, come home, hit the couch, and done. Because you got no energy.
Sure.
So it was a drain. It was bad. Yeah.
And then you got the diagnosis.
Got the diagnosis.
Vanderbilt.
My wife finally, shout out to my wife. You can't do none of this. You can't do this running gig and
That's a
marathon
fact.
gig without
Yes.
a strong partner because it is a lot.
Yeah.
she got so mad at me one night when I was sick. She said, "We are done here." She said, "You are going to do something." Because she'd had it. I mean, it was
Can't live like this.
I'm making us both miserable. So anyway, Vanderbilt, big shout out to Dr. David Schwartz if anybody's having trouble. Dude did all the tests. He called me in his office, and big man sat and cried like a baby. And he said, "Look," he said, "Mr. Lynch, we can take care of this."
I like it.
And I said, "Well, how?" He said, "We got to operate." He said, we know what we need to do. And he said, "When can you come in?" I said, "Are you free tomorrow?" Because I was like,
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm not. We're backed into a corner, so let's just get on it. So anyhow, fast forward, colon resection, took my colon out, was supposed to be laparoscopic. I woke up with a big pillow on my belly, was not laparoscopic, about a 13-inch incision.
Whoa.
Laid my guts out, took some of it out, put it back together, and you just start healing. And they made me take medicine because Crohn's is bad about coming back. It's where they put you back together at. So everything kind of moves forward, and you just get amen in the room. I am clear. I have been clear of Crohn's disease for however many years now since that. It never came back. So you hear a lot of people talk about this is where age, all of us same age. I hear guys at work, I'm sure, running, whatever. "Oh, this hurts, and man, boy, it's bad getting old." And here's the catch for Jeff. This is part of the reason why Jeff does what he does. 20s, even late teens, 30s were miserable.
Sure.
Couldn't do anything. So when I got fixed and realized, hey, I got a second shot.
Let's go.
Basically,
Let's go.
whatever I want to do.
Let's go.
So let's go.
Yes.
We're not going to sit idle and let whatever. Do you want to run? Well, let's go run. You want to do a Spartan race? That's what started. Let's go do a Spartan race.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, you just grab a hold of it by the horns, and my wife, you'd have to get another. My Aaron's a nut. She said, "I think a dirt bike would be fun."
Yes, you got dirt bikes.
Familiar with this, and I said, "You've lost your mind. We're in our 40s. we nobody does this."
Go get dirt bike.
Fast forward, we both got dirt bikes.
YOLO.
And we both ride them. We tear our yard up.
Yes.
Can't go nowhere. We open both fence gates and we ride. So,
And that's a thing that we talk about, and I know you had your mental health. You've told me how you really get in a dark place, and that's what running has become for me. I know for Dusty and his story with his military injuries, and so it's a thing that there's such a level of gratitude and being grateful that for me as a recovering alcoholic, it's a second lease on life. I've got an opportunity to not be this turd that I was, and I can go out here and I can use my body for what it's supposed to be used for. And there's something about that again, like we've talked about, there's just moments of we've been on runs together and we've accomplished things together. And I give you a hard time because I care. And so like if I'm not talking about you or pulling for you, I've called you in the middle of the day and been like, "Dude, I've been looking at this time thing here, man. I think this is going to be fine. You're going to get it." I think about it in the middle of the day. And so because I know where you've come from and what you've overcome to become the runner that you are. And here's the other thing we talked about. If you never Boston qualify, maybe the whole point was to just be a physically, mentally, and spiritually more fit person, because all three of those things have been improved.
If I never towed the line at Boston,
but you will.
I will. Maybe 70, but it's all right. That health wise, great. I've got a lease on this thing again.
Yes.
And it might have been this week. It might have been last week. We were talking. I told you. I said it dawned on me with self-employment, the stresses are through the roof. Everybody, it's just through the roof. One day may be great. The next day may be a total train wreck. And I told you the other day, I said something dawned on me. I don't know why you have to be 50 nearly to do this, but it's not I heard Dusty on one of the podcasts talk about letting it become a job. Yeah. Like running's becoming a job, or I've got to do, I don't want to. Somewhere along the line in this training cycle that I'm in right now, I told Michael, I said, "Man, I get to come do this.
Yeah.
I get to get out here and do this and take part in this.
Yes.
It's not I've got to, I get to."
That change of one word is something we talk about at the exceptional being, whereas I used to look at employment as something that I had to do. versus it's something I get to do because our individuals get to come to work, and that's how they see it. And every day I have to, and sometimes it's hard. We talk about it, but sometimes I have to remind myself I get to go for a run. We're running low on time, so let's see. I have a couple more things I want to get to, and we'll wrap it up because again, Jimmy's freaking out over here. I talked about only harassing
Michael's
because I
sweating a lot,
care, and
too.
I'm sweating. Listen, that's going to be we're pitting, baby. We're pitting, baby.
Officer.
Listen, and I want to run Boston together. Let me ask you this. Do I harass you about your running in real life as much as I do on the podcast? More. Thank you. More. And everything I say is to your face, is it not?
It is.
I know there's a lot of listeners that are probably like in Jeff's corner that's thinking, man, I hope he punches.
That's the next
Michael right
question.
in the face.
The next question is, how many times have you considered throat punching?
I read the little email thing, and I thought, okay, I had to think, because that's just not me. But, and you'll remember this day. We talked about it. We show up to do, and it's summertime. It's 3 in the morning,
Yes.
and the 3 in the morning thing is like unheard of.
Because we had to get up at 2:30.
I've got to get up at 2:30, 2:15 to do this. But if I don't, and the sun comes up, you boys melting, and we're done. So we're going to do it. Was it a 22? I think it was a 22 mile. We talked about
22.
this. So like we do our lap, we do laps, loops. So we do the first loop, and I'm thinking, oh boy, whew, we're hot here. So we start into our second lap, and he's run with me long enough. We'll talk. You're talking, chatting back
Bro,
and forth.
I know when it's over.
When I quit talking, he knows by then something's wrong. Well, we got back. It was 10.5 miles in.
10, 11.
And I told him, I said, I'm going home.
Oh.
I said, I'm 100% going home. I said, we're done. I was probably 30 minutes from passing out. It was just, we were done that day.
I was
My
pissed.
shoes were squishing. I mean, I had sweat. It's Dusty. I'm not. It's squishy.
Yes, I've seen it.
It's serious. And I said, I'm going home. That day, he said, bro, you've got to you got to go. That day, if I wouldn't have cramped up, I could have throat punched him.
He'd have never caught me, bro.
But I would have never. I would have cramped up mid punch and fell over. It would have never happened.
Last question, Carmel coming up. I cannot tell you how proud I am of how your training has gone and what I have cheered you. I walked from upstairs to downstairs to show my wife, God bless you, CG England, for how much you have to listen to me talk about Jeff Lynch's running. And you ran a 18 miler and then a 20 miler. I said, look, CG, look at this. My man just killed this 20 miler.
Yep.
I said he's going to Boston qualify. And so you Boston qualifying Carmel, that's going to be a big deal. Do you think you're going to Boston qualify in Carmel?
Your thing said 1 to 10.
1 out of 10. 1 being a
being
12-mile bonk, 10 being we're going to hug and cry.
I'm going to tell you right now, boys, 26.2 miles is a long way and a lot can happen.
Yes.
But I'm going to say we're at an 8.
Yeah.
I'm
That's it.
stronger
Let's go.
I'm
You
stronger
heard
right
it.
now than I've ever been.
I'm going to tell you, your coach said
Coach said 10.
10.
Coach
Oh.
said
Where's
10.
the 10.
Stronger
Guys,
than I've ever been.
you're stronger than you've ever been, and it's been really great to see you regain that love of running and seeing you start to get faster, get stronger, running times that I've never seen you run.
The first long run where we had Travis is my coach, Travis Shope. Shout out to Travis Coate. He's doing a great job. The first run, my first long run, I don't know if it was 16. I had to do the fast finish, and I thought, you know me, I'm dreading this at mile 3. I'm thinking,
You can't worry about mile.
oh gosh, I
16
got to
problems
pick
at mile
this
3.
up, and this really don't feel the best right now. But I've got to go. Well, when I started going, of course, I think this is part of being 47-year-old. When you start going and you pick that pace up a minute and a half, it's like, well, this is bad. You know, I got a lot, like 20 more minutes of this I got to do.
Mm-hmm.
But when everything settled in, that's when every little light started going off. Like, man, maybe showing up every day, training, and doing this right. There's some gears here that are
There's something
Maybe
to
do you hear what he's saying?
Yep.
Maybe Michael was right
and
this whole time.
all the runners out there, and I gotta say this because me and you, I mean, I like the fast shoes, I like the fast look as much as anybody. I'm showing up in a $300 pair of shoes to race in.
None of that matters.
Look, I'm not going to be. They're not going to keep me in the elites, but I'm going to look fast when I toe the line. I
Yes.
just like doing it.
Yes.
There are no magic shoes.
No.
There is no magic pill. You've got to show up every day.
What do we say, Jeff? Hope is not a plan.
I've showed up with hope, and she has failed me.
If you pack hope, bro.
Oh, she's let
Let's
me down.
wrap it up, guys. Hey, Willow Window Studios,
Glad to be here.
Express,
Express footwear and running.
Highland Rim,
Highland Rim
the
Elect.
one and only Jeff Lynch, everybody. Let's
thanks,
give it up,
buddy.
Jeff Lynch.
That's
thanks,
great.
guys.
And Sight and Sound,
Yep.
Big Jimmy.
Runner Dude Coaching, Runner Dudes Podcast. Check us out. Sorry about my pits. Keep listening.
Thanks, guys.
Thank y'all.
The Runner Dudes Podcast is sponsored by Express Footwear and Runner Dude Coaching and Consulting. Produced by Jimmy Thorpe at sightandsoundcreative.com.